As a business owner, as a franchisor, when you franchise your business, your most sacred obligation, or at least one of them, is to make your franchisees profitable, to help them achieve their economic goals, and hopefully to make sure that they align with your franchise offering. And this is our Franchise Developer Nightmare series, and there's important lessons here. Are there developers, are there consultants reaching out to business owners, trying to get them to franchise their business? And when issues of unit economics comes up, well, they're explaining that more important than the numbers is the nature of the concept, the look and feel of the business. And I'll explain why this thought process, why this thinking is deadly and is not successful. I had a great conversation with a business owner. She started her business right out of college. It's a retail-based business, brick and mortar, service-based industry. It just looks great. You could see this business owner is focused on her brand, focused on her systems, focused on her business model itself. So it kind of makes sense why it would seem like her business is already a franchise. And she shared with me, she contacted us, and the conversation was about, should she franchise her business? And we went through the key analysis, which is unit economics, industry, scalability, founder mindset, and vision. And so what I'll share with you is just right at the top level, when we were having the conversation about unit economics, we focused in on what are the gross sales, what are labor costs, what does the profitability look like? And the reason is pretty obvious, right? If we're going to franchise our business, we need to have strong financials ourselves. And certainly we need a model and we need indicators to feel confident that when we sell franchises, that our franchisees will succeed economically, that they'll be profitable. And again, if we look at our spectrum of good fit franchise opportunity profiles, we're talking about here a brick and mortar business that's going to have higher startup costs, going to have lease obligations. So a franchise buyer needs to be focused on ROI. They need to be focused on profitability. And in this case, her numbers weren't strong enough yet. Her gross sales, while they were good, they weren't standing out relative to the competition, whether franchised or independent businesses. But more important, when we evaluated the numbers, her profitability wasn't there yet. She was profitable, but not strong enough to franchise. And part of that analysis is when you evaluate your own numbers, when you're evaluating the financial performance of your business, consider a franchisee will be establishing a new location, so the sales won't be as strong. It'll take time to ramp up. There may be inefficiencies. And so margins or expenses will be a little higher. And also the franchisee is going to have additional expenses that you don't have. They'll be paying royalties and other fees to you as a franchisor. So when we looked at the profitability of the business, there were great signals, great signs, but she wasn't ready yet. Another factor, when we evaluated the scalability, her product and service profile, the ability to teach and train franchisees, one thing that this business owner brought up to me, she said, well, Charles, actually, we're shifting our product mix a little into more of a niche that we believe is more profitable and is received well by our customers. So not only is the profitability not there yet, but from a scalability standpoint, she's also focused on shifting her operations a little. So these were all signs and signals that now's not the right time to franchise. And she agreed with me. In fact, that's what she felt in her gut. And our conversation was, let's stay in touch, be a part of our community, and let's have this conversation again a year from now. And a year later, let's make sure that her trademarks were registered. Let's take a look at her gross sales by product category. Let's take a look at the profitability, and let's take a look at the new business model, the niche component that she added to the business. And then a year from now, let's make the decision about whether or not she should franchise her business. But this is a nightmare series, right? Franchise developer or development nightmares. What she shared with me was disappointing. So the reason she was thinking about franchising now, and her mindset was she always wanted to franchise. And she thought, what consistent with my advice would be a year or two from now. But she received a call from a franchise development company, a franchise consultant. It was a cold call. I asked, did they advise you how they got in touch with you or why they identified your business? And we laughed a little because she said, well, the person who called me shared with me that they conducted an AI search, an image-based search on Google or on the internet, and they search out businesses that they feel will be the next top franchises or great performing franchises, and that somehow they had identified her business. So it seems like there's consultants out there and their salespeople trying to sell the widget of franchising. And what they're doing, or at least what I believe they're doing, is they're looking for smart businesses, well-branded, good-looking businesses where they know the business owner cares about the brand, the customer, the service, and of course they're thinking about franchising. Unless there's some magical AI algorithm search and image search, which gets the other point. She actually shared with this consultant that she didn't think her profitability was there yet. In fact, she shared that her profitability isn't strong enough. And the response from the consultant, it's instructive, right? It's everything's about a lesson. The consultant advised her that they have a group of investors, that there's this overwhelming demand of investors, which are franchise buyers, and that they don't care about the unit economics, or I should say that more important than the numbers is the concept itself. So what this consultant was trying to convey, or at least what I believe they were trying to convey, was that buyers, franchise consultants care more about the look and feel of a business, the logo, the trade dress, the products and services that are sold, than the actual performance. Somehow that these franchise buyers, they just want to find a hot concept or a good looking concept. And once they get in, once they become a franchisee, well, they'll make it profitable and they'll get to work, which is the exact opposite of the mindset of what it takes to succeed in franchising. Number one, as a franchisor, your obligation is to make your franchisees profitable and successful. And two, to help them get there. It's not the franchisee that should be innovating in your business. It's not the franchisee that should be improving margins, improving product mix. It's you as a franchisor. And not only that, as a franchisor, your first franchisees, all your franchisees, you need to be coaching them. You need to be working with them. You need to be helping them make their business better. And again, keep in mind and remember that your goal, your obligation, it's to make your franchisees successful. And what does success mean? Well, it all depends on the type of franchise you're selling, right? If we look at our good fit opportunity profile, it ranges from lower startup costs to higher startup costs, from home-based business to retail brick and mortar and restaurant. And it ranges from lifestyle type businesses to income, supplemental income, income replacement, legacy building. You need to understand why your franchisees are buying from you. What are their economic goals? And in this case, we're talking about a retail-based business, right? So it's going to have build-out costs, leasehold improvements, a lease agreement, right? So we're talking about a business that at a minimum should be an income replacement business, should be able to replace the income of the franchise buyers. These buyers aren't buying a business because of a concept. They're buying a franchise because they want to replace their income and possibly achieve more. So we have this nightmare, and thankfully we have a smart business owner, and she understood she was being sold. But I think the lesson here is important. Obligation one is to help your franchisees succeed. Two is to understand what that success is and should be. And then you have to coach and help them get there.